What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video got several fragrances that are newer to the collection and a few that I reached back for that are just personal collection favorites of mine. A little bit of variety here. We've got some sweet, we've got some spice, we've got some blue, we've got some fresh, we've got some floral. It's quite the mixture, to be honest with you. And it's week number 171 in the weekly rotation, so stay tuned. So before we jump into the weekly rotation, I just want to thank PerfumeOnline.ca for sponsoring this week's rotation, as a lot of these fragrances in this video came from PerfumeOnline.ca, and others that didn't come directly from them can be found for a really great price in the links down below from them. For those of you not familiar with PerfumeOnline.ca, they are Canada's #1 online discount site. They offer a lot of cheap Middle Eastern stuff, niche, mid-level designer, hard to find, discontinued, and vintage fragrances. Just quite a bit to choose from at very competitive prices. Again, check out the links down below. Now let's get into this week's rotation. Starting off on Sunday is a modern classic men's fragrance, in my opinion. I just did a full review on this one. Long overdue. It's Viktor and Rolf's Spicebomb. No secret, I'm a big fan of this line, and in particular, the original Spicebomb. It has, over the years, maintained, like there was a time when I wouldn't call it my favorite in the line, to where now I'm just accepting it. It's my favorite in the line. If I could only have one version of Spicebomb, the original, it's definitely the one for me. Sweet, spicy, aromatic, a little bit of an earthy tobacco, a bit of a woodsy tone. I just love this stuff. Performance is pretty good. It's not a monster, but it is an above average performer. It's very alluring. I've always been a huge fan of spicy fragrances, and this is quintessential spicy designer. It's one of the most iconic for the bottle and for the scent profile and the flankers that have since followed, and I'm just a huge fan of this one. So definitely check it out if you haven't for some reason yet. It's been out for like 11 years now. I think I want to say it came out in like 2012, I mean, ish, maybe 2010, something like that. Early 2010s, I guess you could say. But during the day, the original Spicebomb. And since I was using Spicebomb during the day, I had a good shave that evening and decided to pull out Beverly Hills Polo Club Blaze Aftershave Splash. So for those of you who don't know, this is a very cheap option that smells like this. And instead of spraying the fragrance, because I do have the fragrance that matches this, to go with it, since I was already wearing Spicebomb that day, I gave myself 2 more sprays of Spicebomb. So I waited about, I would say, 30 minutes for this to kind of die down, because it doesn't last but maybe an hour and it's gone. I mean, it's a $7 at TJ Maxx. I found it loose, and I don't use it all the time. It doesn't have a huge dent. It's got a little bit of a dent, but it smells like a Spicebomb aftershave splash, and I just gave myself 2 additional sprays of the fragrance. So if you ever see Blaze out there in the rack stores, it is the one that smells like Spicebomb. It is the one that I like and wear from time to time. Like I said, I have a travel size fragrance and I have a 50 ml fragrance of this scent. But since I already had the original out, I went with that. So all day long, really, was all about Spicebomb. Moving into Monday, there was no fragrance out the shower. It was just this as my scent of the day. This one's a little interesting. It kind of smells like wet wipes in the opening with a little bit of spice. It's kind of strange, but it's very fresh, a little aquatic and ozonic, very white floral, and like I said, there's a nice spicy tone to this one. As it settles down, it starts to get really nice. This is from Rasasi. This is in the Sotoor line. This is Sotoor Raa. I'm a big fan of this one. I think it's super underrated. I don't think it's the greatest fragrance I've ever smelled or anything. It's not one of my absolute favorite pickups of the year, but it's kind of up there. It's the reason I like it so much is because it's so different. So the first time I ever saw anything about this one, I saw a full review that Joy Amin did. Shout out to you, my friend. And usually when he's really excited about something, our tastes kind of jive when it comes to the fresher stuff. And that was the case here. I really like this one. And like I said, it's very white floral, fresh, ozonic, a little sweet and spicy, but the opening does give me a little bit of this wet wipes, hand wipes type of smell. Not quite baby. I guess baby wipes would fall into that category too, because a lot of people are going to think Tom Ford effing fabulous. Not really, but I guess up top with the wet wipes feel, maybe a little bit. But I don't think they're the same scent profile. And performance kind of surprised me on this one. I felt like it was starting to die down a few hours in, and it kind of held at that strength, which I would consider in the moderate to mild sillage strength at that point. It was like the 4 or 5 hour mark, and it held for a good 7 to 8 hours before it became a faint skin scent. So it kind of crept along for a bit before it got, really faint and weak. So I was kind of surprised by it. The first hour and a half, though, the stuff's really strong. It actually is. You can overspray this one. It will be cloying. When I say you can overspray it, like it is possible to overspray. Not that you should overspray it, but to each their own. I did 5 sprays, plus I had a spray on my forearm for this wearing, and I was really digging it. It's a little bit of a strange one, but it's worth checking out for the money. During the day, Rasasi Sotoor Raa. Moving into Tuesday, this day again, nothing out the shower. This was the theme for most of the week. I gave myself a break in the evenings and only wore something in the evenings 3 times out of the 7 days in the week. And this one, I just featured it, how it's so underappreciated, so I decided to rock it. We went back to the Spicebomb line, but we went with Night Vision Eau de Toilette. The most kind of, I guess, crapped on in the line in many ways. And it smells great. Wife was digging how I was smelling. She definitely let me know when we were walking to the car and got in the car multiple times how good I smelled. And I agree with her. It's got that Invictus kind of sweet aquatic tone at the top with a lot of the spicy DNA of the original. It ties back to the original's DNA, which is why I've never understood why this got crapped on. Now look, it's not hated, at least I don't think it is. It just doesn't get enough love. There's people that enjoy it, obviously. Every time I talk about it, people come into the comments talking about, I agree with you, and yada, yada, yada. And that's awesome. It's nice to know that others feel the way I feel about this fragrance, because look, it's not the best of the line. Admittedly, it is my least favorite of the line. It's most people's least favorite. But when you're the least favorite in one of someone's favorite designer fragrance lines, is it really still that bad of a thing? Because Spicebomb, the line, is one of my favorite lines ever. I mean, this is a top 5 fragrance line for me personally. Right up there with the Dior Homme lines, Prada L'Homme line, and such. So those of you who've been watching me a long time, you know that's my jam. I just named 2 that are 100% my jam. And it's the same thing here. The Spicebomb line, they kind of can do no wrong for me. I really enjoy it. It's an above average performer for me, not quite a beast. The Eau de Parfum is a beast for me, but this is just a tick or 2 below a beast. It's a very good performer. It's like a 7, 8, 9 hour range longevity fragrance. Pretty strong in the first 2 hours, and it's super mass appealing. It's definitely the most mass appealing of the group. Maybe that's why it got such mixed reviews and somewhat negative press when it came out, because it's so mass appealing for the line, which the line's pretty mass appealing overall, but this kind of walked the line of making a spicy Invictus in some ways, so I guess that's kind of why I got shit on. Who knows? But I enjoy it. During the day, Spicebomb Night Vision Eau de Toilette. Moving into Wednesday, yet another day that I did not wear anything out the shower, but I'll tell you what, this was one of the highlights of the week for me. I mean, really, I was rocking some really good stuff that really speaks to my taste all week long. I'm not going to sit here and act like I wasn't. I was loving every fragrance I wore. But why Le Parfum? You guys have been hearing me praise and praise and praise this one lately. I'm such a huge fan of the line as a whole. This is my favorite version. I like the way it performs on me. I like the richness of the scent profile while still staying true to the original. It's such a good parfum flanker for this line. It's full of aldehydes. The way the aldehyde works with the ginger, the citrus, the fruitiness, everything, it's magnificent. I'm a huge fan of this one. And I have my little space heater that I keep on my feet. I know the camera's not picking up the mist, but when I spray, it's actually going up because the heater's right there. So I'm having to catch it up here. So it actually ended up all over my head, which, I mean, it's all good. Now my head smells like Le Parfum. I smell it out in the air. It's probably because it's on my face a little bit too, but there's a little blooper for you that I'm just rolling with. God, I smell fantastic now. That's all I smell. I love this fragrance. Get your nose on this one. I definitely had a try before you buy kind of thing with it, where I had a 2 ml or 3 ml, I don't remember how much it was, decant that I had got from Decant House, I believe. It was Decant House that I had grabbed it. Fell in love, knew I was going to add a bottle at some point. Luckily, thanks to perfumeonline.ca, I have a bottle now. I just did a full review. If you want to hear some more details, definitely check out my full review. But during the day, one of my favorite blues, Yves Saint Laurent, Why Le Parfum. Moving into Thursday, I mean, The sweetest fragrance of the week. 1 Million Elixir from Paco Rabanne. Another one I've been raving about lately because I'm so happy to have added this to my collection. Big fan. A lot of vanilla tonka bean and woods. In my full review, I had people in the comments saying they think this is the sweetest of the line. To each their own. I don't think it's sweeter than Lucky or the original 1 Million, but like I said, to each their own. I definitely enjoy it, though. Let's go over here so my space heater doesn't blow it on my head. Man, God, that is good. If you like sweet designer fragrances, because there's a crowd for the sweet designer fragrances, I fall into that crowd. This is one of the best on the market when it comes to a sweet designer fragrance marketed for men. I've had people in the comments for that video say it's too feminine, gave it to my girl. Hey, your girl smells great now if she's rocking 1 Million Elixir. I don't know what to tell you. Look, not everybody likes sweet fragrances. I understand. I get it. I'm a big fan. This one is bordering beast mode territory. If you go beyond 3 to 4 sprays, it's definitely pretty beastly on skin. So be mindful of that. If you don't want a loud, well-pronounced fragrance and you want it a little bit more subdued, you might want to control the sprays on this one depending on your setting. But I'm loving this. I'm so glad to add this one to the collection. Big fan. Currently, where we stand, it is my favorite version of 1 Million, right behind Privé. So it's a close second. It can't quite take the top spot because the discontinued 1 Million Privé. Going to be hard to knock it off its perch when it comes to the 1 Million line. But this one, it's special. If you want to hear a little bit more, make sure to check out my full review. During the day, Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Elixir. Moving into Friday, I actually did wear this one during the day and out the shower. I gave myself another 2 sprays or 3 sprays, I forgot how much. But if you're looking for Jean-Paul Gaultier's Lebow even cheaper, which I literally saw people griping, saying that I'm out on a clone of a designer that I can get for $70 to $80. I get it. I mean, the retail cost before the 10% off is $43. I mean, it's just right under $40 with a discount. And I'm telling you, after wearing this twice, it's the same damn fragrance. It's from Paris Corner, the Kaheela line. This is Platinum. This is, when it comes to the wearing experience and just kind of going through your day in the sillage, it's like a one-to-one experience for me. I'm impressed at how it smells pretty much exactly the same. Like when I was just doing the first impressions and smelling it off my hand, I mean, it was like, okay, it's close. As it dries, it gets closer and closer, but you just spray this on a few times. Like I did 5 sprays around the neck and 1 on my hand to just enjoy on my hand. I actually did a shorts video for it. And that night I gave myself 2 or 3 more sprays out the shower. It's pretty much the exact same wearing experience. Like literally the exact, I can't really tell the difference in the wearing. It's so good. Nice little hit of bergamot right there out in the air. I gotta be honest, guys. I feel like I have 2 bottles of Lebow Eau de Toilette now. I really do. It's that accurate when it comes to the wearing experience. I really like this one. I really do. They did a great job. Now look, does everybody need to run out and get it? No. I mean, $20-$30 more. If you want to go with the original, go with the original. I get it. I have the original. I love the original. I talk about the original all the time. Literally, at the recording of this, in today's video, I talked about how it's one of the best fresh fragrances that you should pick up in 2023. If you want to save a few bucks and get the exact same fragrance for like $30, $40 less than you can get it at discounters, literally basically half the price of Lebow at discounters is what you can get this for. And it's the same damn fragrance. No difference in quality. I mean, it's pretty much a carbon copy is how it comes across to me. So during the day, out the shower, I'm impressed. Paris Corner Kaheela Platinum, a clone of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Lebow Eau de Toilette. And finally on Saturday, it is a Zaharoff type of day. I haven't wore this one as a daytime wear in a little while, so it was nice to wear it. I actually wore 6 sprays. My sillage was magnificent. We actually went to Sam's Club today and did a little shopping there. Wife went on a hike when I did an active recovery day at the gym. Went to do some cardio, sauna, core. I sprayed it on after the gym, and like I said, we went out and about, and it was just magnificent. She kept telling me how good I smelled, and I was living in my sillage and loving it with Signature Rosé from Zaharoff. Can't tell me nothing. One of the greatest fragrances ever composed. My main man, Claude Deer. Killed it. Love it. One of my favorite fragrances in my collection. Huge fan. The reason I say it's been a while since I had just a daytime wearing is I use the shave set pretty often, and when I have the fragrance that matches a shave set, which I do with this, I'll usually give myself a spray or two depending on the strength of the fragrance, maybe 3, maybe 4, to layer with the aftershave splash after I have the shave. So it was nice to do a daytime wearing. For those of you that aren't familiar with this one, it is a smoky incense heavy rose. The incense dominates on my skin. There's 2 different types of roses, Bulgarian rose and Turkish rose. There's a little bit of peony here. There's some vanilla bean sweetness, a little bit. It's kind of a sugary sweet, but not super sweet type of smell with a warm wood type of oud. It's a little resinous and oriental in its base. It's warm. Like I said, smoky rose. It's magnificent. It's, like I said, can't nobody tell me anything about this one. I love this fragrance. I'll argue with anybody. It's subjective. How I feel and how you feel, it doesn't have to be the same, but I just love this stuff. It's so damn good. If you haven't tried it yet, get a sample. Click the link down below. Save the 10% by using the link and get the damn $5 sample before the 10% off. And just try this fragrance. It's not going to be for everyone. I get it. Even if you're not a fan of rose, there's a lot of people over the last 2 years that was like, man, I normally don't like rose, but I sure like this one. Just get the experience. You may end up loving it. During the day today, one of the best fragrances in my collection. Literally one of the 5 best in my collection. Zaharoff Signature Rosé. It's just, love this stuff, seriously. And then I just got out the shower a little while ago, gave myself a shave, and we stuck with the house, but we switched up the scent profile, and I went with Signature Citrine. So here's the splash, and here is the fragrance. I gave myself 3 or 4 sprays of the fragrance. Loving it. Living in the sillage. This is one of the best smelling from the house. Huge fan. This is a top 3 fragrance from the house. Actually, 2 of my top 3 I wore today. Because my 3 personal favorites, you got to take the Z Craters out of it. Because it's obvious I love my 2. That's Evening Mystique and Business Over Pleasure, my favorite 2. Of course, let's get that out the way. Of the house releases, it goes Leather Tobacco and Rosé. Are kind of neck and neck, 1 and 2. Kind of 1A and 1B. And then third is this gem right here. I love Citrine. I love the way it smells. It's not a monster. It's a fresh fragrance. It's a very fresh fragrance with some naturals in it. I get about 6-7 hours of longevity on my skin, but after about an hour, admittedly, it does sit pretty close to skin and calm down. Unless my body temperature raises, then it'll start projecting and have a pretty nice little sillage. But I love the way this one smells. Sweet orange, limey, clementine, and again, incense pops on my skin, and that's one of the core main fragrance notes that Claude likes to use in the Signature Pour Homme line, which is this is based off of. So the incense and the amber, the woods all pop off of my skin with this. So right now, currently, I have a nice little mild sillage going on of this beauty. Out the shower, had a good shave with Signature Citrine, the splash, the soap, and the fragrance. Well, that was this week's rotation, and until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Those of you familiar with the format, you know what I'm looking for next. Sound off in the comments. What'd your rotation look like? What did you wear this past week? It's my favorite comments to read every week. This is my favorite format, just to go over what my fragrant week looked like with you guys. Obviously, this doesn't include gym fragrance, which I don't wear fragrance to the gym every day. I'll say maybe half the week I don't, because most of my rest days are just me doing cardio at this stage. I don't really take full rest days that much anymore. It's very scarce. I'll do just a steady state on the treadmill cardio day instead of not doing anything, because I like to get my exercise in. I'm a damn gym rat through and through. But I digress. We're talking about the fragrances, so let me know what you guys wore this past week down in the comments. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these fragrances, you give them a spray now. Pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.